Wow, what a group. I wasn't expecting so many people and so many familiar faces. And thank you, Katie, for warming the group up for me, really. I'm Eileen Clinton, and it is an honor for me to be here tonight. I know that everyone here tonight has been touched by cancer at one time or another in their life. We all have stories to tell, stories of love and stories of loss. My story begins 5 years ago when I was diagnosed with leukemia. When I heard those words, "You have leukemia," everything came to a screeching halt. I stared hopelessly at my oncologist seated across from me. I cried out in protest. This must be a mistake. I just had my annual physical 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. How can this be possible? My doctor said I was healthy, I was fine. I can't have leukemia. But it wasn't a mistake. Tears rolled down my cheeks as I locked eyes with my partner, Mike, who was by my side holding my hand. A veil of sadness covered his face as he struggled to hold back his tears. We were no strangers to cancer. Mike's wife, Lori, died of breast cancer. My husband, Bill, died of lung cancer 21 years ago. We were two widowers that were lucky enough to find love once again. But now we were doomed to fight another battle against cancer. I could tell by the look on Mike's face, his unspoken fear, what he was thinking. Was I going to lose another woman who I love? My mind wandered for a few minutes back to the days when I worked at hospice as a grief counselor. I was the one who supported others. I was the calming voice. But now I was the one in need of the support. The roles had completely reversed. Mike squeezed my hand gently, pulling me out of my daze as the doctor continued to explain the seriousness of my condition. He informed me that I had a rare form of leukemia called a mixed phenotype, meaning I had 2 types of leukemia. Lucky me, right? 2 types, ALL and AML, plus a genetic mutation. Could the news get any worse, I wondered. But despite the meager odds of survival, 35%, my doctor framed everything in a very positive way. He explained that the goal was to cure me. And those were the words that Mike and I clung to, cure me. Within hours, I was admitted to Memorial Sloan Hospital, despite my pleas to go home for just a day or two, but I think they thought I'd never come back. Denial quickly vanished, along with any hope of waking from this horrible nightmare. Shortly after my hospital admission, I was told that I would need a stem cell transplant, preceded by 2 rounds of chemotherapy plus immunotherapy. It seemed like the news just kept on getting worse and worse. My family and friends marveled at my strength and perseverance. They said I was so brave. You said that as well. You're so brave. How did I survive this life-threatening crisis, they asked. Well, fear dwelled within, or should I say terror dwelled within. I tapped into my inner strength, focusing on surviving. For as long as I can remember Gloria Gaynor's famous song, "I Will Survive," it was my ringtone, it was my mantra. The song's powerful words got me through some of the most difficult times in my life, and now more than ever, I needed that strength. So instead of withdrawing, I chose to be open and to tell my story. I connected with fellow patients on the leukemia floor. They too shared their stories as well. We cried together, we laughed together, united by a common goal of trying to survive. When St. Patrick's Day rolled around, we even celebrated together. Tethered to our IV poles, we strutted through the hospital halls, we marched past the nurses' station, decked out in sparkly beads and Irish hats. swaying to a beat that only we could hear. The nurses roared with laughter and cheered us on. They too were swept up into the moment. But in an instant, oh my goodness, the hospital corridors were transformed from a place of fear and suffering into a space filled with hope and life. On another occasion, I love this one, a nurse approached my room and discovered me dancing with my IV pole. I had my headphones on, completely lost in the music to the Bee Gees, Staying Alive. Singing along to the lyrics, I'll live to see another day. I'd sing it for you, but I have no tune here. The nurse confessed that she had stood at the doorway, laughing and just giggling while she watched me perform with my IV pole. She said it was an image that she'd never forget. Through it all, I was blessed with an incredible support. Mike, along with my children, Jen and Bill, and my friends, they surrounded me with love and encouragement. And I was equally fortunate to have an amazing healthcare team, doctors who knew how to treat my very difficult form of leukemia, and nurses who watched over me like hawks. I don't know how I would have gotten through each day if it wasn't without them. During my months of treatment, I realized that I wanted more than to survive. I longed to thrive. I came to appreciate that each day, it's a gift, a chance to celebrate being alive. I no longer overlook the little things in life, spending time with Mike and my children and my grandchildren, lunch with my friends, feeling the warmth of the sun and the bite of the winter wind on my face, watching the ocean waves roll in and out, and cooking crepes each morning for the last 4 years. Honestly, I do. If anybody wants a crepe recipe, talk to me. Yes, I love them. During the months of my treatment, I realized all of this. One of my favorite memories captures the magic of laughter in the first few months after my transplant. We often visited my daughter and her family because they lived outside of Boston where I was receiving treatment. Because I had lost my hair from chemo, I always wore a sun hat. One day, my youngest granddaughter, just 3 years old at the time, looked up at me with bright eyes and a big smile. And she said, "Nana, why do you always wear a hat?" And I looked back and I said, "Well, honey, you know that Nana was very sick and I was in the hospital. And when I was there, they gave me this wonderful medicine that made me better, but it also made me lose all my hair." She looked at me with curiosity and I said, "Well, would you like me to take my hat off so you can see?" And she shook her head with excitement. And so I took off my sun hat, and there I was, as bald as could be, with my shiny head. And all of a sudden, her look of interest and excitement turned to one of fear. I could see in her body language how she was looking at me. So I said, "Honey, what do you think?" And she said in a very serious voice, "Nana, I think you should put your hat back on now." My favorite story, I've told it so many times. Mike keeps on saying, "Are you going to tell that story again?" I said, "Yes, I love it. It's precious." During my recovery from my stem cell transplant, I started on a new journey, a reflective process that took me down an unexpected road, writing a book. What a Wonderful World, reflections on love, loss, and hope. Glasses have to go on. My book, it's a culmination of my personal experiences with loss, intertwined with my professional background as a grief counselor. It serves as a catalyst, encouraging others to reflect on their losses, their cancers, and to tell their story, your stories. There is power and healing in telling our stories. My leukemia diagnosis opened my eyes to what a wonderful world it is, full of love and kindness and hope. It's been one heck of a journey. I survived and even thrived through it all. Perseverance, patience, and a strong belief in myself carried me through the most difficult challenge in my life. As the famous singer Frank Sinatra once said, I did it my way, and so did I. I did it my way. I have my final thoughts, and I could go on forever. And as anyone in my family could say, she never shuts up. All right? It's just I keep on talking and talking to everyone and anyone. But I do need to be brief. Believe in yourself and surround yourself with people who believe in you. And never, never give up. You have a story to tell. And once again, I encourage you to tell it. I did save the best part for last. As I mentioned earlier, the oncologist had told me that the goal was to cure me. He later explained that being cured meant being in remission for 5 years. 5 years on June 18th will be my special moment. I will be cured on June 18th, according to my doctor. As I said, it's been one heck of a journey. My heart is full of gratitude for all those who helped me along my journey. There are too many to thank individually, but a shout out to Dr. Belomo and the staff at NYOH, Dana Farber and MSK, wonderful, wonderful people. My sincere thanks to the NYOH Foundation for organizing this wonderful, inspirational event. Thank you. Thank you for coming here tonight and supporting us.